What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Bobby Lashley legit injured, the original plans for Elimination Chamber, Goldberg is a free agent, The Undertaker rejected a WWE return, Brock Lesnar went off script in a big way at Elimination Chamber, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now let's hit the intro and get straight into our first story. Now our first story looks at Bobby Lashley legitimately injured. Now our top story today takes a look at some unfortunate news for former WWE Champion Bobby Lashley. Yesterday at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, WWE ran an injury angle which saw Lashley get taken out of the chamber match without actually competing. Now it was rumoured that this was done in order to protect Lashley, as WWE didn't want him pinned, and he would have then had a meaningful claim at a rematch against the new WWE Champion Brock Lesnar. However, this doesn't appear to be the case. According to Kazim Famudi on the Ring of Wrestling show, Lashley suffered an injury to his shoulder during his match with Lesnar back at the Rumble. He adds that Lashley may need surgery, and if that's the case, he should be missing this year's WrestleMania. PW Insider adds that Lashley is set to go to Birmingham, Alabama next week for a medical evaluation. WWE is currently using the kayfabe explanation that Lashley is heavily concussed, and they're not mentioning his shoulder issues. But we wish Lashley a speedy recovery and hopefully he can get back in time for WrestleMania. Next up, the original Elimination Chamber plans revealed. And the main aim of yesterday's Women's Elimination Chamber match was to make Bianca Belair look as strong as possible heading into WrestleMania. Bianca taking on Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's title has been planned for months, and this is actually one of the only matches on the WrestleMania card that hasn't had any creative changes made to it. Interestingly, WWE initially wanted to protect Alexa Bliss in the chamber match, and they came up with a unique way to protect her, whilst also giving Bianca the spotlight. Mike Johnson of PW Insider reported, the discussed finish of the Women's Elimination Chamber bout was a double pin, with Bianca Belair getting her shoulder up at the last second as a way to protect Alexa Bliss, as it was her first official match back, but the decision was later made to go with the KOD for the clean pinfall to make Bianca look stronger headed into WrestleMania 38 bout with Becky Lynch. What do you make of this alternative match finish? Would you prefer this to the finish we actually got? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Goldberg is a free agent. Goldberg took on Roman Reigns in the opening match at the Elimination Chamber, and whilst it was appreciated that Goldberg put over Reigns in a convincing manner, fans are certainly tired of seeing Goldberg return and instantly be placed in the world title matches. Luckily for those fans who have been critical in relation to Goldberg's booking, it looks like he's done with WWE. He's fulfilled all the contracted matches on his latest contract, and as of yesterday, he's officially a free agent. Now, it's entirely possible that Goldberg could be signed to another WWE contract, as they clearly see value in his name. But with Goldberg being a legend, he's going to be one of the highest paid guys on the entire roster, meaning WWE may wish to let Goldberg ride off into the sunset. But with Goldberg now a free agent, it's unclear if there's any interest from other companies such as AEW. Goldberg entering AEW would certainly be interesting, and it would certainly give AEW one more star-studded name to add to their already stacked roster. What do you think? Should Goldberg just now retire? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Goldberg's son to wrestle. Although it looks like Goldberg's days in the ring are numbered, his son Gage may be looking to eventually wrestle. While speaking to Corey Graves on the After the Bell podcast, Goldberg was asked by Graves if Gage looks set to begin a career in the squared circle. Goldberg responded by saying, "It's highly possible that there will hopefully be an option for him. I do believe it's inbred in him to have the love and passion for sports, the physicality of football, the physicality playing catcher and wrestling. They're all the same and it's all about opportunities. I want him to follow his dream. He's already proven to me and everybody else that he's already become a better baseball player than I can ever be. It'll be interesting to see if Goldberg's son ever does wrestle, and whether he could ever match the success of his own father." Next up, The Undertaker rejected a WWE return. It's been a huge week for The Undertaker, as this week it was announced that the legendary superstar will headline this year's Hall of Fame class. This has been a long time coming, and The Undertaker entering the Hall of Fame may be the most deserved induction that WWE has ever delivered. WWE actually had plans for the dead man to appear at yesterday's Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, but these plans were ultimately cancelled. The plan wasn't for The Undertaker to work an angle, it was just for him to make a cameo appearance to celebrate him going into the Hall of Fame. The show did feature a substantial video package for the dead man, and WWE even played his entrance theme, and even I was thinking that he was going to turn up. So it's kind of clear that this is when the cameo appearance would have probably have taken place on the show. Or with his return next, it would have been great to see The Undertaker pop on either Raw or SmackDown to promote his Hall of Fame induction, but they may be reserved in having The Undertaker appear on WWE television in any capacity before his Hall of Fame induction in April. Next up, The Undertaker brings back a classic gimmick. Speaking of The Undertaker, the reason he was unable to appear at the Elimination Chamber event yesterday was because he was appearing at a Bad Bunny concert in Texas. Amazingly, the dead man appeared as the American Badass version of his iconic character, and he rode a motorcycle as Kid Rock's American Badass theme played in the back. Bunny and the dead man have become great friends since Bunny became involved in the WWE, and the two even hung out backstage at this year's Rumble event. Next up, Logan Paul set for WrestleMania. Logan Paul has made a number of appearances on WWE programming over the past 12 months, and he looks set to make another at this year's WrestleMania. Yesterday at the Elimination Chamber event, The Miz cut a backstage promo where he promised to call someone to help him deal with Rey and Dominic Mysterio. This mysterious someone is set to be Logan Paul. According to PW Insider, Logan Paul teaming with The Miz in a tag team match against Rey and Dominic is set for WrestleMania. When The Miz first delivered the promo, fans were speculating that he was referencing Cody Rhodes, but that doesn't appear to be the case. Cody is set for a different storyline, and if the rumors are believed, he is set to wrestle at WrestleMania this year. Who Cody's opponent is going to be remains to be seen. Next up, Brock Lesnar went off script in a big way at Elimination Chamber. Brock Lesnar made his first ever appearance in an Elimination Chamber match yesterday, and the new champion actually went off script during the match itself. Towards the close of the match, Bobby Lashley's pod was selected, meaning Lashley was next to enter the match. However, with Lashley being unable to compete, he naturally was unable to enter the match. But instead of waiting for his turn, Lesnar kicked the chamber pod through and entered the match. According to PW Insider, this was an unscripted moment and Lesnar wasn't supposed to enter the match in this manner. PW Insider stated, Brock Lesnar smashed through a legitimate Elimination Chamber door to enter the EC match. We're told that this was not a planned spot. That is one scary man. But with Lesnar being one of the WWE's top guys, he's unlikely to be punished for going off script in this rather dramatic manner. If somebody else did this in the match, for instance Austin Theory, he would have likely lost his entire push due to the act of defiance. And finally, Cody Rhodes retired? Our final story today looks at a former Intercontinental Champion who claims he's retired. Earlier this week, it was revealed that Cody Rhodes was parting ways with AEW. This came as a huge surprise, as it seemed like with Cody having an executive position in AEW, it was unlikely that he would ever leave the company. It was then reported that Cody is set to make a return to WWE programming, and Cody could potentially be filming vignettes promoting his return as early as next week. It looks like Cody's attempting to work the fans by claiming he's retired following his AEW departure. Cody took to Instagram yesterday to post a story featuring his daughter and his pet dog with the caption, "This is what retirement looks like." Although nobody is falling for this retirement story that Cody is running with, you have to appreciate how Cody isn't giving in to the rumors that he's on his way back to WWE. But there you have it folks, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below. I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.